Hey, welcome back folks. Another day on Sling Mountain, eh? Lockdown's going on a bit, but the weather's still ace. Still doing the videos. Hope you're making the most of it, really. It doesn't have to be like always like super proactive, does it? Sometimes just be catching up on rest, chatting to friends. I'm not trying to get deep and meaningful on these things, but get a bit sucked into trying to make the most of every day when sometimes it's okay just to chill, isn't it? Which is what I've been doing all morning. Took the boy for a stroll early. Usually I take him in the afternoon, having done these videos in the morning, but I don't even know what time it is, 2 o'clock-ish or something like that. I've had my lunch, feeling a little bit lethargic today, but it's Sunday, so that's allowed. I know you're viewing this on a Monday or whatever day if you're viewing it in the future, but filming on a Sunday, so I've got a nice coffee. If anyone's got any good coffee recommendations, hit me up and put some comments in the stuff below, because I'm about to run out of my everyday coffee. I usually have Lavazza, which is like not very exciting coffee, but it's fine for everyday stuff. I only ever drink espresso as well, so if you've got any recommendations that you can buy in like kilo bags, there's no point buying smaller stuff because I have like quite a lot of coffee. So if you've got any recommendations, hit me up in the comments below, that'd be ace. Today is the long-awaited Escaping the System Part 3. There's not actually going to be much escaping the system involved because we've already done that in like Part 1 and Part 2. What we're looking at really is what you can do with it once you have escaped the system, because it's like, oh great, we're halfway up a route, I'm not in the system anymore. Well, brilliant, it's no good unless you do something with it, is it? So that's the theme of today. If you haven't watched Escaping the System Part 1 and 2, go and watch it now, right? Or watch them now. And also there's another video on what have we done, like prosecuting up a rope. That'll be useful. Hopefully if you're watching these kind of videos you know kind of abseil setup type stuff already, because that's going to be part of it as well. So if you haven't watched those things, watch them either now and come back to this, or watch this first and then watch them after. But they kind of come as a complete package really, and that's the big thing with all this escaping the system, right? There's a lot to it, and you've got to learn all these bits and pieces and then put them together in the right order, and the right order depends entirely upon the situation that's arisen, right? And you've got to come up with a bit of a plan first. I think it's well worth, when you have a problem, having a deep breath, tying the belay plate off so you can just be like hands-free and properly mellow, coming up with that plan and then executing it. If you don't want to rush into these things, you'll make a mistake, and it's just, that's going to take you longer in the long run, isn't it? Okay. So go and watch those. Let me get set up and you'll join me, having drunk my coffee, put my harness on, and basically escape the system, right? And we'll be ready to do something with it. Join us in a second. Right, so you join me back on Sling Mountain. I'm chuckling to myself because this is take 2. I was like really impressed that I'd done this all in one take, and then I got to the camera and the flipping battery had died and it messed up the recording entirely. So here I am for take 2. Maybe it'll be a bit better this time. Remember, if you haven't watched the other parts of this Escaping the System, some of this might not quite make sense, right? But my mate is down there dangling, I'm shouting down to them and they're not replying, so I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm worried they're injured and stuff, so my first thought is, right, I need to get down to them and patch them up, make sure they're alright, all that kind of stuff. So I've escaped the system, this is what I've been left with. I'm going to think about what I can do next. How am I going to get down to them? I'm going to abseil. That's my first thought, right? That's my ideal option. So I don't like to abseil directly off the sort of back of that knot. I'm going to put myself a clove hitch in here. Screw gate carabiner into my master point up there. Clip and flip as always. This little loop here means they're independent, these two things. Tighten that clove hitch up so it's all nice and neat and ready to go. Lap my rope, the boy's bored, you can hear him groaning away. Launch the rope off. It reaches them, brilliant. Tie a knot in the end of the rope, all that kind of thing, normal abseil stuff, right? So let's get on the abseil. I've got other videos on this, of course. I kind of think probably if you're interested in this kind of thing, you're probably already dialed abseiling. Personally, Prusik on first for me, right? French Prusik, release under load, all that jazz. People keep asking me about these Prusiks. They're Simmond Prusik cords, sewn Prusik cords from Decathlon. I'm pretty sure they're out of stock at the moment though. So Beal Jammies are the other ones that I haven't used, but I know people that have. Now, this is my backup. I haven't got any screw gates left, so I've clipped in with a snap gate. Is that good enough? Check your locks. I don't think it is, right, in all honesty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a second snap gate. I'm going to match that up the opposite way. That's as good as a screw gate. How long did it take? 2-3 seconds? You're number one, right? Because that person down there, we don't know what state they're in, they're reliant upon you, right? Me in this case. So that is worth having a screw gate or opposed snap gates, right? Check your locks up, good. Pull a bit of slack through so I can load this up. With my sling that I've used as a lanyard to stay safe because I've escaped the system and everything, I've already tied my little knot in there. I do that by default because they're multi-purpose. I haven't got to faff around again. Already done. Load up my belay plate, clip him in, job's a good one. Slide him on up. Check this is all right, because remember, you're number one. You need to get this flipping bit right. This is not a time for rushing. This is a time for being methodical and checking it all. Done up, all done up. They're still safe, they're done up on a tied off Italian. I'm just working my way down. My belay plate is on, loaded correctly into this. Prussik's on, it's gripping, I've checked that a second ago. Those are good, into the right place. As soon as I undo this lanyard, got to cover this rope. Remember, the Prussik is purely a backup. Lanyard, yeah, improvised lanyard, I'll keep calling it lanyard, but remember it's an improvisation. Off I go down to them, right? Slide, 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 great, great, great. I get down to them, probably going to want to be hands-free, so the first thing I'm going to do, back myself up properly with like a knot there. Great, I'm good. Hands-free, happy days. What can I do next? Well, my priority is to fix my mate up, whatever that is, a bandage, you know, whatever, there's different video that, isn't it? Could well be that they're upside down though. So again, I think I've shown this in another video, but just it feels like it's a good time to show it again. The little chest harness thing I've done before, which was putting a cross in that sling and then just putting it around them. So, chuck that over your back. This is for them, not me, by the way, just to be clear on that. Should be a cross like in the shoulder blades, somewhere like that, as I tighten that all up. There might be two crosses there, doesn't matter as long as there's a cross. And then I've got a chest harness, haven't I, right? So you can hoof your mate up, put this on them, and then you could, right? Imagine I'm my unconscious mate now. You could just clip that into their rope. The trouble with that is it does sort of slide down, and then it can end up like this, and they just pivot around anyway. So what can be a nice idea, okay, if I can get this Prussik out, is to use another Prussik. Maybe they've got a couple on them as well, so you can pinch some gear at this point, some screw gates, some Prussik cords, some slings, whatever you can really. Not too fussed about what kind of Prussik this is, as long as it's gripping, right? I remember this is for them, not you or anything at this point. This is just for getting them, keeping them upright. So they're on their little chest harness, and you can slide this up, and then that keeps them upright. So that's a really neat way of doing it. Check that's not pushing on the gate or anything, you can adjust that. But that's a nice way of doing it and keeping them upright. Think about that, right? Okay, so I've got down to them and I've patched them up. And there's a few options here. With this stuff, there's always options. Let me just clear this up. It might be that my rope reaches the ground. I can pick them up and off I go. There's going to be some little tricks involved in picking them up if they're weighting the rope. I'm not going to cover those now. It might be though that your rope is nowhere near the ground. You're a long way up a multi-pitch route, or you're above the sea or something, so there's no point going down because you're just going to be swimming. So you might have to go back up, right? It might be that the down is the way, but you've got to do multiple abseils. This is fixed at the moment, so I can't pull it down afterwards, can I? So there's a high chance of you having to go back up that rope that you've just come down on. So I'm on all this already, aren't I? This is good to go. What I could do, if the terrain allows me just to climb pretty comfortably, I could climb up a bit, slide my Prussik up, slide my ATC up, alright? Slide my Prussik up, slide my ATC up. Doing those backup knots, right? That's really important to keep doing them as you go, or have a rolling clove hitch or something. That would work, but it would only work, right, if the terrain's really easy and you can have a hand free to hoof through and stuff. If it's trickier than super easy for you, you might have to do something slightly different. So I've done a video on Prusking up a rope Watch that if you haven't. Because I use a guide plate, that's what I'm going to do. I've got to start improvising a bit here with carabiners because I've got a screw gate but it was down there. I don't really want that just dangling around to neaten him up a little bit. Just put a snap gate in there. Get yourself a screw gate, turn that guide plate into an ascender, okay, by clipping it into your belay loop. Do him up. So medium terrain, I can just hoof that through now. What I do if it was sort of medium terrain is I clear this out of the way. Okay, this is just really important that clear stuff away all the time when you can, when it's appropriate to do so. It keeps things neater and tidier and will just make things like easier to interpret all the time and check yourself. So I could climb up now, even if it's relatively tricky, and every now and then hoof that up, and that's going to be working as an ascender, isn't it? On the same video I keep going on about now, the Prosking video, we convert this into having a little foot loop with it as well. So I use whatever Prosik is appropriate for this top one. When I say appropriate, just mean that it's gripping nicely. So sometimes with these sort of Simmons type Prosiks, I do really like them, they can be a bit slippery. So sometimes I go for a clem heist, even though it's not really needed in terms of the safety thing, just locks a bit better. So that now, have I got another sling? Yes I have, happy days, let's just clear in. There we go. I can convert this into a foot loop one, can't I? Right. On that other video, what I do there is I clove hitch that to my foot each time, and away I go. So I hoof that up, stand up, move that up, sit on that, slide that up, go, go, go. Watch the Prosking video if that's not making any sense. You could save yourself a bit of kit there as well, couldn't you? I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the other video or not, so here's a little bonus tip just for a moment. You could do your Prosik with this, couldn't you? Wrap your sling around, however many wraps are needed. Slings can be pretty grippy if they're sort of relatively furry. And if this is the right length, it might well end up being a bit too short actually. But you could stand up in that, slide, slide, slide. I think that's ending up a bit too short, but sometimes that'll work. You might have to link other slings together if you've only got one Prosik because you've dropped one or for whatever reason, but it's improvising, isn't it? That's part of the game for all this stuff. But anyway, I've ascended myself back up the rope. I've got to my belay again. Remember those backup knots all the time. I've got a backup knot in, so I'm happy to let go of that. I need to get myself safe again. Have I got any screw gates? I haven't at the moment, no. So, snap gate, that isn't good enough. It's got to be screw gate or two snap gates facing different directions, so hopefully you can see that there. That's as good as a screw gate. Now I'm going to clear stuff up again. I'm buzzing after that coffee. That is it's my second coffee of the day. I don't normally have two. I'll have a headache in a bit, I suspect. I've had a can of Coke as well. Dangerous times for me. Right, there we go. Cleared up. Good, 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 good. I can sort something out here. Now I'm not going to go into this yet. I'm going to take a step back. Let's rewind. I've escaped the system. My mate's still down there. I've never been to them yet. We're back at that point. What was the first thing we did? We kind of, once we got ourselves in that, we lapped up the rope, we threw it off, having isolated it. I've done that. No, the rope is not reaching my mate. They're too far down the climb and I haven't got enough rope. Pretty disappointed by that. It's a little kick in the you-know-whats. So, what's our other option then? We got this rope, that goes down to them. They're dangling on it though, so I can't go into an abseil, can I? Because I can't get my belay plate on. It's all going to be tight. Right, what else can I do with this rope? How did I just ascend this rope? I used Prosiks, didn't I? I actually used my guide plate in a Prosik. Can't get my guide plate on, so I'm going to have to go for like fully old school here and go to a Prosik on it. Right, let's start that process then. Now this one is going to be for my belay loop, my harness. Yeah. This is going to be my main point of safety. I'm not psyched by that idea, truth be told, because it is just a Prosik. It's relying on friction around a rope, isn't it? Does it lock up? Yes, it does. Done a clem heist because I don't need it to be releasable under load. And I find them just a little bit more trustworthy than a regular French Prosik. Got to be a screw gate, this one. Whew. I'm not super thrilled by this, as you can tell, but needs must. So I could unclip now, climb down, slide, climb down, slide, climb down, slide, assuming it's terrain that I can climb down. So like I said, it's not ideal, is it? Because I'm always banging on about not overly trusting Prusiks, they're backups. That's one option. Option two, it might be too hard to climb down, right? It might be like overhanging or something, who knows? So then I'm going to have to put another Prusik on, aren't I? Let's go for that. Not really worried about what type of Prusik this is, as long as it locks up. So I'll go for a French if possible, and then I'll check it locks up nicely. So again, with these Simmond ones, probably more wraps than on your standard ones, to be honest. Clip that in. Have I got anything left in terms of, yeah, I've got some snap gates over there, great. This isn't really a safety one, this is just a logistics one, if you like. So this is going to be my foot loop. Check he locks up and everything. Yeah, great, that's locking. So now what I'm going to do, slide that down, weight it to stand up, slide that down, sit on that, slide, repeat, repeat, repeat. Obviously having taken that with me. So all my safety is reliant upon that bad boy. That's not a safety thing, is it? Like I said, it's just logistics. Is there anything else you could do as a bit of safety? It's tricky, isn't it? One idea, let's just say I'm sat on that. If that slips now and starts to move fast, rope on rope, sliding, I hate that idea. There's no backup there. If it didn't melt through or anything, eventually I'm just going to hit my mate, aren't I? Would it be potentially a bit better to think about something like putting that onto there? So worst case now, if this started to slide and melted through and oh crikey, that'd be so scary, wouldn't it? At least this would just slide down and stop, maybe into this slot, but probably not, but worst case into my mate. Far from ideal, absolutely a million miles away from being ideal, isn't it? But what other options have you got? Remember, we can't use this when it doesn't reach my mate. You could use it for a little bit, but then you've got to change systems, so it feels like probably this is the way forwards. And then, right, you patch them up as before, maybe get them upright, all that kind of thing, and then bosh back on up the rope, the same rope, it's still tight, so I can't put my guide plate on it, I've got to go to this old school method, get back up here, clip into all that lot. I'm now safe on that, great, you can ditch all this lot, clear it up each time, I've said that already. Make things neat and clear and as simple as they can be. You're going to be like, is stress the right word? I don't know, but you're going to be working quite hard for all of this. So the clearer everything can be, the clearer your mind will be, and it's just kind of easier to go, right, what's next, what's next, what's next, and come up with a nice plan each time. You can have a little look at what gear you've got each time, right, got this many screw gates, that many screw gates. So even little things like this, let's get that back on a proper screw gate ready to go. Okay, this is what we've got. What can I do next? Quite a lot there, isn't there? Right? That's all I'm going to cover in Escaping the System Part 3. I've gone to my mate, I've given first aid, I've got back to here. Now it's, am I going up or am I going down? That's the next choice. So let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, Escaping the System Part 4 will come from this point onwards. I think that's enough to be going on with. Just because there's a lot of steps, isn't there, right? You've escaped the system, you've done something with it, you've got to do something else with it as well. Don't forget, right, I think it's well worth saying this, that you've got a phone with you, 999, police, mountain rescue. They can come and help, right? They've got loads of good kit, loads of medical experience, loads of general hill, mountain climbing experience. They're the experts, right? But I do think we should be able to get down to our mate to do that first aid, even if it's really flipping basic. Remember, the aim of first aid is to try and stop things getting worse, right? We're not there to necessarily completely fix them, right? We're there to stop things getting worse, and anything else in my view is like a bonus. We should be able to do that, really, don't you think? You can't just sit up here and go 999 blah blah blah, right, mountain rescue, oh yeah, mate's fallen off, I'll just sit here and wait, shall I? Who knows what's happening to them? I think you've got to be able to get to them. Even if you then get back to this point and you're like, right, I just don't know what to do, but at least the situation's not getting any worse, you can wait and then mountain rescue will come and help. But at least you've been proactive and done something useful. Extricating yourself from the cliff is going to be quite involved, right? It's either going to be changing this into a counterbalance abseil, assuming we're doing like multi-pitch kind of stuff here, or going up hoisting type kind of thing. And hoisting, oh, you're going to be boxed, aren't you? It's going to be a lot of hard work. So that's going to be part 4. It's going to build on all this, right? Please do fire away with questions. I'm happy to answer as best I can. Hey, some of the questions I get asked, they do get a slightly cop-out reply of it depends, and I'll be a bit brief on things because there's so many variables with this, isn't there? Don't forget, all this could be happening on a traverse or something as well. This is like a nice basic there beneath you kind of method. Best case really, isn't it? If, keep things simple though, right? If your mate ever has an issue and you've done all this, you've learnt all this, don't rush straight into all this gnarly stuff. Can I just lower them to the ground? That would be ace, wouldn't it? They've fallen off, I'll just lower them down. This is kind of for that relatively extreme and inverted commas situation where you're multi-pitching, you can't go down, all that kind of thing. If in doubt, and you can, lower them down. Oh, that would be a gift, and then you can abseil down or whatever to get down to them. So just keep things simple, come up with nice clear plans. All these little things are building blocks. It's getting them all in the right order to make these things work in a real situation, because there's a lot of variables. Not going to say any more on that for now. Well, that coffee's still buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Don't forget to put in those comments if you've got any good coffee bean suggestions. Remember, beans, I grind my own on the grinder, so if you've got good coffee bean recommendations, chuck them below, along with those questions and stuff. If you haven't clicked the like button yet, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button as well. I'm so grateful to you all for watching it and clicking all those buttons and stuff. It's really appreciated. We've just gone over 1,000 subscribers. I thought that was completely unobtainable when I first started doing these videos at the beginning of this lockdown. So honestly, just mega thanks to anyone who's been involved and stuff. I'm honestly so appreciative of it. It's mind-blowingly cool. You know the score. Find us on Insta and Facebook as well. Follow us on there. The odd other thing gets put on there. Thanks very much for watching again. More videos coming tomorrow for part 4. Watch us then.